So before we begin with the beautiful program that we have for you this evening, we want, inshallah ta'ala, begin things right with the best of words, which are the words of Allah, the words of the Quran. To recite Quran, we have Brother Abdullah from Masjid al-Tawheed in Church Avenue, Brooklyn, who, mashallah, has memorized the Quran at a young age and really benefited from all the local imams in their recitation. And also to do the English translation of the meaning, Sister Aisha Afsha, who's an 11th grader, 6-year-old high school student, who, mashallah, who received awards for poetry to do the English translation. So I'll invite both of them to the stage, inshallah, and inshallah will do the recitation followed by the translation, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وكفى بالله وكيلا. إن يشأ يذهبكم أيها الناس ويأتي بآخرين وكان الله على ذلك قديرا. من كان يريد ثواب الدنيا فعند الله ثواب الدنيا والآخرة وكان الله سميعا بصيرا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله. كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله ولو على أنفسكم أو الوالدين والأقربين. إن يكن غنيا أو فقيرا فالله أولى بهما فلا تتبعوا الهوى أن تعدلوا وإن تلووا أو تعرضوا فإن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا. صدق الله العظيم.
And to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. And sufficient is Allah as disposer of affairs. If He wills, He can do away with you, O people, and bring others in your place. And ever is Allah competent to do that. Whoever desires the reward of this world, then with Allah is the reward of this world and the hereafter. And ever is Allah hearing and seeing. O you who have believed, be persistently standing firm in justice, witnesses for Allah, even if it be against yourselves or parents and relatives. Whether one is rich or poor, Allah is more worthy of both. So follow not personal inclination, lest you not be just. And if you distort your testimony or refuse to give it, then indeed Allah is ever with what you do acquainted.
In choosing the theme for tonight's gala, we thought to ourselves, right, as we did last year, what are the best of words, what is the best of teachings? And we're reminded of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allahumma salli wa sallam alayhi, in which he said that Allah said, hadith Qudsi, that, "O my servants, I have forbidden oppression on myself, and I have forbidden oppression amongst you, so do not oppress one another." So we wanted to embody this theme of forbidding injustice, and that's where we came up with the theme for tonight's gathering. And it takes a huge level of faith and sacrifice to stand up for justice. Because we know when we feed the poor and the hungry, this is something we're supposed to do. But standing up for justice, you're putting yourself in the line. You're putting yourself in the line of fire. But you know you do it regardless because you know it's right, you know it's just, and you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you along the way. With that said, inshallah, I just want to make sure that we give our thanks to our wonderful sponsors, inshallah ta'ala. And one of them, alhamdulillah, we have MCC, alhamdulillah, and Titan Development, Wahid Invest, Amana Mutual Funds, and MCC, alhamdulillah. I'm just going to read off this message that Bahi texted me. And maybe you might know about the Bahi MCC, which is also the home of Muslims Giving Back, the home of Jannat Community Services, and the home of Freedom Bakeries. And he actually couldn't make it today because they're trying to expand and do other programs across the nation, alhamdulillah. So MCC is the home of the center of multiple initiatives, such as Muslims Giving Back, such as Jannat Community Services, and as Freedom Bakeries. Their vision is to create a community that is inclusive to all and be of service to all. MCC is a community of communities, and you can learn more about their work at www.mccbrooklyn.org. And Titan Development, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward Brother Sal with Titan Development. They are a premier design, build, and development firm based in New York City, specializing in ground-up luxury apartments. As citizens of society, as Muslims, and this is what they wanted, the message they left for us. That as citizens of society, as Muslims, it is our responsibility to stand up, to stand up against oppression. And for that reason, Titan stands for justice, and Titan stands with CAIR New York. MashaAllah. Thank you for our diamond sponsors, MCC and Titan Development, as well as our other sponsors, Sarsour Capital, Man Mutual Funds, Deadly Foods, Wahid Investments, and we thank you for that. And inshallah ta'ala, we want to thank you all for coming, our staff and volunteers you see on the screen. And with that said, inshallah, our board president, Ibrahim Musaddam, inshallah ta'ala, will take the stage and welcome you all.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا صديقي وسيدي أمري وحفظه قولي. Jazakallah khair to each and every one of you for making the journey out today, close and from afar. Our brother just came up from London, mashallah, who's also one of our volunteers that came in voice at the time and support. Thank you all for being here. If you continue to support, I'm going to try to do something fun. Not many of you noticed it. We did a little red carpet video and question and picture taking as you all walked in. So I hope some of you got to enjoy that, inshallah. Look for pictures as it comes. First and foremost, alhamdulillah, as the Sheikh said in the past, we look forward to a day where we do not need to have fundraising and a banquet for an organization like CAIR New York. Unfortunately, we're not at that day yet. And so I look forward to that day. But in the meantime, we have to ensure that we continue to empower CAIR New York to defend the Muslim civil liberties and its rights, and everybody's right here in the New York area. Jazakallah for being here. We have, alhamdulillah, been working very hard, as I'm sure you'll get a detailed report from our executive director, who was an amazing executive director and doing so much work with our staff. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that we just released an anti-Muslim hate report that took us almost 10 months to put together. And that from that is pretty much a direct response to former Commissioner Kelly's response, where he said that there is no hate being done to Muslims in New York City. One of the things in that report that I want to highlight is the fact that 93% of hate crimes against New Yorkers that took place went unreported. And that is to my dismay, and it should be to all of our dismay. One of our objectives in the board is to ensure that every Muslim household in New York knows about CAIR New York. They are the cornerstone. Because when it gets too late, it's too late. I'm the chairman of the board here in New York, after that, and I would not be able to do it without the rest of my fellow esteemed board members, my right-hand man, Assistant President, Ziad Malan. Our treasurer, Hisham Kawala. Our secretary, Sister Shan Khwaja. Sister Sahar Sahmani. Mir Mahsoum Ali. And we have, inshallah, brother, we call Uncle Nasser, who's not here, he's traveling. He is a cornerstone as well. We also have Imam Mali, also. So they are what continue to power and push this organization together with your continued support. So inshallah, we have a great line of speakers coming up. Anything we can do, we actually service. We are always looking for feedback from our community, good or bad, critique or positive. So please, inshallah, please keep it coming. We look forward to expanding and seeing you all. Jazakumullah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed Mohammed. I am the attorney and legal director at CAIR New York. In case any of you are confused, this is the CAIR New York Gala. Got a lot of signs up here, so hopefully you're in the right place. I have the distinct pleasure of serving you all in this community and engaging our community to make sure they know what their rights are and protecting them, defending the Muslim community, educating our community, and advocating on behalf of our community. And inshallah, we can do that stronger together moving forward. My job today is to introduce one of our keynote speakers, an individual that doesn't really need an introduction, highly respected in our community. It's Linda Sarsour. She's a community organizer. But I'll give a quick intro anyhow. Linda is an award-winning racial justice and civil rights activist, a community organizer, and I can attest to this. She's every Islamophobe's worst nightmare and mother of three. She is a proud Palestinian Muslim American born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, right here. This is her home here in New York. She is a former executive director of the Arab American Association of New York. She is the co-founder of the first Muslim online organizing platform, Empower Change. Linda was one of the national co-chairs of the largest single-day protest in U.S. history, the Women's March in Washington, D.C. She has been named amongst 500 of the most influential Muslims in the world. She has won numerous awards, including Champion of Change from the Obama administration. She was recognized as one of Fortune 50 greatest leaders and featured as one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world in 2017. Linda is a 2019 Roddenberry Fellow, and in 2020, she released her highly acclaimed, anticipated book entitled "We Are Not Here to Be Bystanders," a memoir of love and resistance. She is a frequent media commentator on issues impacting Muslim communities, Middle East affairs, criminal justice reform, and she is most recognized for her transformative intersectional organizing work and movement building. Sister Linda.
Assalamu alaikum. I feel like I'm at a family reunion. I haven't actually done New York events in so long because I'm never hardly in New York anymore. So I am so honored and blessed to be here, especially to support CAIR New York. And I think Ahmed made a great point today because we're all going to give. That's why we're here. We're giving to CAIR New York. I love CAIR National too. They're my friends and I love them very much. But Sometimes when I go to the local CAIR banquets, we found out that your money went to CAIR National, but today you're giving your money to CAIR New York. So let's make sure that that's clear. So I thought that I would give you a little update on my life. So last Monday, I was on the front page of the New York Times, and I don't like being on the front page of any paper these days. And last Monday, the world found out that in 2017, 2018, when many of you saw me in every headline from the east to the west, from the UK to God knows where, turns out that all the slander and vilification that I was experiencing as an extension of our Muslim American community was organized by the Russian government. Look at that. Now, I could have blamed a whole lot of other governments, let me tell you. But the Russian government, that one didn't come to me. And so I say that to all of you sisters and brothers in this room is because there are a lot of forces out there in this world that are trying to undermine us, to target us as Muslim leaders. They don't like to see Muslim Americans who are eloquent, who are charismatic, who defend the rights of all Americans. They don't like seeing powerful and bold Muslim women wearing the hijab that stand bold and unapologetically Muslim. Sisters and brothers, this is why I support organizations like CAIR New York. As a New Yorker, you already know, you know my story very well. I have been opposed by every force that is available and possible here in New York City. I have been victims of hate crimes here in my own city, in New York City. And the first phone call that I always make is to our friends at CAIR New York. In 2018, I was sitting at home in New York City, in Brooklyn, and I got a knock at my door. I looked outside the window and I saw two men. They were wearing flannel shirts, some jeans, some sneakers. Now listen, two white men knocking on my door, Brooklyn. I didn't think that there was anything good that was going to come out of that. But I'm a New Yorker, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm also Palestinian, I'm nosy. Like I couldn't just let that just go. I had to understand why these men were knocking at my door. So I looked outside, I said, today I'm going to take the risk. I opened the door and I said, excuse me, how can I help you? They said, are you Linda Sarsour? And I said, who wants to know? So they said, pulled out some badges from their pocket and said, we are with the New York State FBI. I heard FBI. Now, mind you, sisters and brothers, I'm a Muslim American political activist and I'm also Palestinian. The last thing that I need is FBI agents at my door. And so immediately, what did I say to the New York FBI agents? I said, I will not speak to you without my lawyer. Who do you think my lawyer was going to be? Yeah. It was going to be CAIR New York. That's who my lawyer was going to be. So the fact that something like that could happen to me, and by the way, could happen to any one of you in this room, the fact that I know that I can pick up the phone and call CAIR New York and be able to stand boldly in front of FBI agents and say, I'm not going to speak to you without my lawyer. Now, mind you, I hadn't called CAIR yet because I didn't know. I said, I pray to God they answer that phone because I need those lawyers. But they always answer the phone. That's the great thing about CAIR New York. Now, you're probably wondering what those FBI agents were doing at my house. So when I said to them, I will not speak to you without my lawyer, the FBI agent said to me, we understand that is your right, and we respect your right, but we want you to know that we are not here to investigate you or anybody that you know. Sisters and brothers, it was like the FBI agents just gave me $1 million. I said, oh, you're not here to investigate me or anybody that I know. I haven't been that. So when they said that, I violated some of the know your rights guidelines that Ahmed teaches us. So I asked the question, I said, so what are you doing here? They said, we just wanted you to know we were sent here to notify you that you were on an assassination list. And I said, thank you so much. And when I went inside, so the story is that I was on that assassination list with Caesar Psyop, the guy that was sending pipe bombs to people's home. Apparently I was next. The crazy thing, sisters and brothers, is that after the FBI agents told me that I was not on an investigation list, but an assassination list, I was so happy to hear that. And that's the sad part about being Muslim in America and being a Muslim political activist, that you could feel relief from being told that you are on an assassination list versus being told that you are under investigation by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And for me, the relief that I had was that if I were to be under investigation by the FBI, I know that I have a community and I have CAIR New York here in New York City to have my back. Just this week, I just asked Ahmed actually, and I actually told these folks in our community in Bay Ridge, please give them a few days. They have a big gala. They're trying to raise some money to continue to do this work. I got 3 calls this week from families in Bay Ridge. NYPD intelligence detectives are going to the homes of young people, young Muslim boys, because NYPD's cyber unit is monitoring Muslim pages. And based on content on some of these pages, they are actually following people commenting, people liking photos, and they're tracing those people to see who lives here in New York City. And so what they have done recently in the past week is they've actually shown up to the homes of people in our communities, scaring our families. These are young boys. One of them was 17 years old, another one is a college student. And so they came to me and I said to them, what did you do? And one young man told me, oh, I don't know. My father let the father let the detective into the house. And that's how I know that our community has such a long way to go. I don't know how many decades it's going to take for our community to understand you do not talk to law enforcement without a lawyer. And I hope everybody, at least in this room, understands that. So I told them, you do not talk to law enforcement agents. You do not continue this conversation. You need a lawyer. You know whose number I gave them? Ahmed's number. That's whose number they have. And I told them to call on Monday because they have a gala this week. A few months ago, I got a call from a sister in Staten Island whose daughter was being bullied and her hijab was ripped off and the school was doing nothing. So I called CAIR New York and I told the mom, don't you worry, sister. She was going to a school with few Muslim students and the mother was so overwhelmed and felt so disrespected. She felt so unseen. And the daughter was telling her mother, I don't want to go back to school. And for almost a week, this girl did not go to school, but her mother could not force her. 14 years old, could not force her to go. She said, I don't want to go to school. She wasn't eating. She wasn't sleeping. And I told the mother, don't you worry. We got CAIR New York. We got people to stand up for you. We got people to defend you. Your daughter does not have to be afraid. She has to understand that there is a community that is behind her. And we are a community that's going to stand behind our young people. Because our daughters deserve to go to school and wear their hijab unapologetically. And for us as a community to invest and ensure that they can do that every single day. And that is why we need CAIR New York. You know, I find myself in a lot of controversy. I'm always in controversy, not just outside the Muslim community, inside the Muslim community, because the Muslim community is also not on the same page. And that's probably why we get ourselves into these situations, because we're not all on the same page. You know, when I think about my activism, you know, people say, oh, mashallah, Sister Linda is an activist. Sister Linda is a Muslim. And if you are a Muslim that is not standing up for justice, if you are a Muslim that is not defending your right to be a Muslim in this country, if you are a Muslim that is not courageous, that stands tall in front of the young people, whether they be your children or those who are around you, if you are a Muslim that does not encourage the leadership of women in our community, that, for me, sisters and brothers, is the point here. That is the Muslim part of me. It's not being an activist. Being courageous, being bold, forbidding injustice, standing up against injustice is part and parcel of our deed. And so the reason why I get into a lot of controversies in the Muslim community is people in our community are too busy talking about labels. And it bothers me, it's so distracting. Sister Linda's liberal, Sister Linda's progressive. The women in our community, our leaders are so progressive. Sisters and brothers, please do not confuse our young people. There is nothing progressive about standing up for justice. There is nothing progressive or liberal about standing up and defending our rights as Muslims to practice our faith freely in this country. There is nothing progressive about fighting for the rights of refugees and immigrants in these United States of America. There's nothing progressive or liberal about fighting for fair wages. Even our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, said, pay the worker before the sweat on his forehead dries. So when you see people fighting for fair wages, or welcoming the stranger, or refugees, or women's rights, there is no debate here about what's progressive and what's liberal and what's conservative. It is standing up for what is right. I want to remind Muslims in this room, you do not live in a Muslim country. We do not live in a Muslim country. We live in a country that has a constitution that's supposed to protect all of our rights, not just the rights of Muslims, the rights of all people in America. So you as a Muslim cannot defend your rights alone if you are not also defending the rights of other minorities in the United States of America. I don't need laws to tell me to pray 5 times a day. I don't need laws to tell me to pray in Ramadan. I don't need laws to tell me how to act and how to behave as a Muslim. I know that because I study my deen. And so the fact that people are looking for people in power to make laws for you or to somehow try to align with our Muslim deen, you folks are confused about where we live and what we're trying to do in these United States of America. And that is why I respect organizations like CAIR. CAIR will stand up for any minority community. If a Jewish person is being attacked, one of the first Muslim groups to stand up and condemn attacks against Jews is CAIR New York. Attacks against Black people or folks being killed at the hands of law enforcement, you will find CAIR outside. To defend the rights of refugees and immigrants, you will find CAIR outside. And that is why I support organizations like CAIR. CAIR represents the best that our community has to offer. They are articulate, they understand the law, they understand how we as Muslims need to build solidarity across communities. Because I will tell you this, sisters and brothers, I don't know if you know this, we are not enough. You want to hear that again? You are not enough. We are about maybe 3 to 5 million Muslims in America, in a country of 333 million people. So we have to understand that if we want to live freely in this country, if we want to live unapologetically Muslim in this country, we also have to defend the rights of others to live unapologetically as themselves. It doesn't make you less of a Muslim to say that people should not be subject to violence in this country, regardless of who they are. Even our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, made contracts with people that he didn't align with as long as it was for the betterment of that society. And so we start trying to make new rules and new guidelines in this new era. We confuse our young people. And I want to tell our young people this. I am unapologetically Muslim every single day. I proudly wear my hijab every single day. I raise my voice every day because I am a Muslim. And I'll just say this to all of you because we are in many spaces together and people will say, our beloved Prophet, our beloved Prophet. And I always say to people, you know who the best activist that you ever had is our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. He was a women's rights activist. He said that he was encouraging the education of women hundreds of years ago, not just today. It's not a modern concept of educating our daughters. He was someone that welcomed a stranger. He himself was a refugee. So when we welcome Syrian refugees and Iraqi refugees and refugees to our community, migrants from the border, we are following in the footsteps of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. When we say protect our planet, when you see the young people talking about climate justice, this is not because our young people are liberal or because they go to public school. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, taught us that Allah gave us the earth, Allah gave us the trees and the plants and the oceans and the animals because they are blessings from Allah, so we are to take care of them. So don't tell our young people you're liberal because you're running around in the climate justice movement. Sisters and brothers, we got to put this work in context. And so I want to say to all of you that I come here today dressed like this because I'm about to go to a wedding, just so we're all clear. That's how much I love CAIR New York, that I told my family I'm going to be a little late because I have to go and support CAIR New York. I have to support the leadership of Muslim women in our community who sacrifice time with their families to do the great work that CAIR New York does. sisters and brothers. I go to CAIR, I'm doing CAIR Georgia, I'm actually going to CAIR San Francisco Bay Area, I'm doing CAIR Sacramento this year, and I've done many CAIR chapters across the country, Dallas, Michigan, you name it, I've been there. I always say, the strength of a community is reflected by how strong their CAIR chapter. That's what I say. And so I hope you make me proud, sisters and brothers, so that I can say that in New York City, the New York folks, when I go to Georgia on November 12th, when I go to CAIR San Francisco on November 19th, I want to tell them that in New York, I don't know if you can compete with the New Yorkers, because them New Yorkers stepped up for CAIR New York. And so please, sisters and brothers, remember we are giving to CAIR New York because you are investing in justice. You are investing in the next generation of young Muslims who are sitting in this room and watching what you are going to do today. You are investing in the leadership of women in our community who are bold and unapologetic, that are serving us every single day. And when I say to all of you, sisters and brothers, that I'm going to stay bold and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and listen, I am a testament that there is a God, because I can't believe that I'm even here today. To tell you the truth, sometimes I'm like, this has to be God. Because what I've endured and what I've experienced, sisters and brothers, I do not wish that upon anybody in this room. I do not wish that on any family in this room. But you know what? It made me even bolder. And because of organizations like CAIR, I will not be silenced, I will not be intimidated, and I will continue to do the work that I do every day, because I know that CAIR New York has my back. So please, folks, today, give generously to the great people at CAIR. New York, CAIR, New York, CAIR, New York. I'm gonna play with the tech a little bit, right? Hey, I did it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is so good to see so many smiling faces. We all know that a smile is the sunnah of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And so that is why I offer that first and foremost. And I really want to thank every single one of you for making it out to our CAIR New York Gala. I thank our board, I thank the families, I thank those who traveled from afar, even from different states. I thank our speakers. And I also thank our clients, because when everyone asks me, how's work, I can never say it's a good day, due to the nature of our work. When we're busy, it means things are happening in our community that are not good. But I say it's busy as usual. That's a sad thing to say. And when someone asked me many years ago, who was actually an intern, she said, so what's the goal of CAIR New York ultimate? Like the ultimate goal. I said the ultimate goal is not to be needed. But so long as we are needed, we will be here for you. And so what I try to do for you, my beautiful community, is to put forth a little PowerPoint slide so I can show you a little bit of the work that we do and remind you of the kinds of things that unfortunately go on in our communities, but that we try to help together. And notice I said we, because every single one of us contributes to making this happen. So bismillah. So we start, my brothers and sisters, if you're looking at the screen, with the regular assistance that CAIR New York must do for our youngest of clients, our children. And if you recall, if you're keeping up with CAIR New York's work, you remember that there was a 9-year-old whose mother called us. He's in the NYC Department of Education, and he was learning to fast during Ramadan. And because he laughed in class or whatever, the teacher decided to use his religion as a weapon against him.
So instead of allowing him to be in a separate room where all the other fasting kids were, she had the audacity to go to the little boy and say, I'm making you sit in the cafeteria and watching all the other kids eat while you're fasting. That was the punishment. Now, when you're 9, we have to think about this resonates with a 9-year-old. Does that kid ever want to get to tell somebody that he's Muslim again? So CAIR New York initiated a legal complaint because his mom, also an unapologetic Muslim woman, wanted to make sure that she empowers her son and that he knows he has a community behind him. She came to CAIR New York, and alhamdulillah, we began a legal complaint which got resolved this year. And in that resolution, this 9-year-old boy can now say we have a monetary settlement and staff training for the school. You all remember Sister that well, last year she was an awardee and speaker, actually. I mentioned her here, even though you heard her story. She was the young lady who decided, because she's such a brilliant student, she was given an honor of giving a graduation speech. She told them, I want you to educate yourselves, including the genocide that is happening in Palestine and in China. Because she mentioned Palestine, she was booed, she was physically, by adults, approached. They told her to go back to Pakistan, and all on school grounds, to the point where security had to come and escort her out. She actually ended up in the hospital for anxiety for a bit. Well, the reason I bring it up now is because oftentimes CAIR New York's work doesn't end in a week or a month. It doesn't end when the cameras are gone. Our cases continue forward. And now we're talking with the New York State Attorney General to get into the picture and to investigate the bullying at the school. Notice how many young people we're talking about here. I know so many of you go to massages for the purpose of building a space for young people. But if our young people cannot bear being Muslim, they'll never walk into the masjid. Sister Latifah McBride of Buffalo, New York, is a champion Muslim wrestler who earned the right to represent on a national level the United States internationally at the Pan Am Championship in Mexico this month. But she was unable to attend. Why? Because they will not allow her to dress modestly. They're forcing her to wear what's called a singlet. You know what she said? I quote from an article. She said, my goals are built around my religion. I built everything around my religion, so it's not something I'm going to compromise on. And in doing so, she came to CAIR New York, and now we're fighting the rules on international to make sure that those national and international rules get changed for all the athletes of our community. Another lawsuit we settled this year. This sister was a female employee in CUNY. You would expect CUNY is so diverse. Why the hell would they have so much going on? But unfortunately, this woman said, I was a target of explicit bigotry and hate due to my religious identity in a diverse workplace such as CUNY that claims to be a promise of a safe work environment. And I quote her when she said, I felt everything but safe or respected. She came to CAIR New York, where she knew she would be safe and respected. And alhamdulillah, we represented her as well, and the lawsuit came to a conclusion this year with monetary settlements and training for supervisors. So beyond our youth, we often see tragedies all across our nation and in our state as well, even though New York is so diverse. And we saw that happening in Buffalo earlier this year, when a deranged white supremacist decided he was going to target specifically a Black community where they go shopping in a supermarket, and he opened fire. Now, of course, no one could have expected such a thing to happen. But we wanted our Buffalo community members to know, and specifically our African American community to know, that Muslims will stand in solidarity with them. And so we sent our own brother Majid Behebe to Buffalo, and we helped organize a rally to make sure they spoke, they merged with the community, and they prayed there, alhamdulillah, in solidarity with the Buffalo community so that they know that, God forbid, if they ever needed CAIR New York, it's our Muslim responsibility to be there for everyone, including them. Another huge tragedy this year, and I have to tell you, I had to think really hard as to whether or not I should even bring this one up because it's so sad. Early in this year, 2022, we marked a tragic, tragic fire in the Bronx that ended up killing 17 people, mostly African immigrants who were Muslim. And you know, we had so many organizations, of which some are here, who went to the ground there, providing social services, providing relief, giving out materials. I know ICNO was there, I know NCN was there, I know so many others were there. But CAIR New York was there as well. And while I had our then team member, Brother Abdullah, was there day and night, simply exhausting himself, doing everything he could for the community members, we also had to fill in the special niche that we fulfill, and that is the legal one. And so Brother Ahmed was also there, providing office hours, because we knew there would be legal issues that needed to be spoken and taken care of as well. So people who lost their immigration papers, for example, people who lost legal documents, people who needed benefits and were being denied, they didn't know how to go about the system. And that's our initiative. And then some of the things that we do are not reactive, but actually proactive. And so we often do anti-bullying workshops specifically for those examples that Sister Linda spoke about. And we incorporate in those workshops, by the way, anti-racism content for our students. And we provide resources to public school teachers, like our Educator's Guide to Islamic Practices. I know for many of you, the materials and the curriculum in public education is now a challenge. We provide materials to parents, letters of exemption to objectionable curriculum that go against our religious and moral values. That is besides lending support to get Eid holidays in school districts, for example. And we want to empower our community because legislators will only hear you if you vote. And so we're constantly doing civic engagement by making sure we're doing voter registration drives in our community. And to help our organizations, because alhamdulillah, Muslims are a good sizable population here with many organizations, we also do compliance work. And in this particular work, we were teaching our masajid partners what is permitted compliance-wise for civic engagement. Are you permitted to have a political office, a person running for election in your masjid? What are the rules? We don't want our masajid to lose their C3 status. And then we also come to the aid of masajids in other ways. And unfortunately, our masajids are targets of discrimination. So for example, we have this masjid here who was vandalized overnight on Eid. And you can see what's written on their death to Palestine. What they want to do is intimidate us, but that is not our way. We will always attend our masajid and push back, and we always need to speak up. And we speak up for everyone's religious freedom, because if they lose theirs, we lose ours. And because it's simply wrong in Islam to oppress others. And so whether it's a Catholic church, or whether it's a synagogue, or whether it's a masjid who's actually saw somebody on their cameras shoveling urine and debris onto their front door, or a synagogue that has swastikas scrawled on their walls, or as of late, a masjid in Long Island who on the 4th of July, the holiday that's supposed to celebrate freedom, they were firebombed. Yes, somebody rolled up to their masjid and threw an explosive on their sign, trying to cover it up with the fireworks that were happening in the background. But I have to give it to Masjid al-Zahra in Long Island. You know how they responded, besides calling CAIR New York? Is they said, well, you know what? Tomorrow's Eid, we're inviting the entire community out, and we're going to celebrate together. not enough to just call out specific tasks. We also have to call politicians to task. So when District Leader Lori Maslow decided that she was going to put up a post that essentially said that Palestinians should be wiped off of the face of the earth, I was going to say something not so nice, but I held myself back. We came to the forefront with the organizations to apply pressure and to demand her resignation. And when we work together as a community, when we do it with every single one of the organizations and Masajid partners here, guess what happens? She resigned. And just recently, if you heard in the news, CUNY was investigating a complaint of anti-Semitism made by another CUNY community college professor. And a Muslim woman who serves as their diversity officer was tasked with the job. So Representative Zeldin decided to say that because she's Muslim, and because she used to work at a Muslim organization like CAIR Minnesota, that means she is unfit to do her job properly. She must be pro-Hamas. She must be anti-Semitic. Well, it's our job and it's your job to call him out, because every single one of us here knows how to do our jobs professionally, independently. And who does he think he is to call every Palestinian supporter and every Muslim a pro-Hamas or anti-Semitic person? We won't let that slide. And we hope to continue pressure on him as he continues to espouse these kind of remarks. And being proactive and talking to politicians is something that we must do if we want to change policies on a larger, broader basis. And that's why with so many of the organizations here, with MASK, and with NY-MAN, and with MUNA, and with ICNA, and with MCNC, we came together and we shipped the largest New York delegation over to Washington, D.C. to speak to our congressional representatives. Every year we do this. We put in the lodging and the time to make the appointments, and we put together issues of concern for our Muslim community, because we want all of you to understand that those halls of power belong to you, not those you elect. Other things that we face, and Sister Linda said, how about economic justice? We understand that too. Did you know that there's a movement for street vendors? Did you know that in New York, it's reported that 50% of street vendors are Muslim? You all know the halal cards. Even the non-Muslims know the halal cards now. But it's not just them. And I have to tell you that I am, whether you're Muslim or not, I am personally offended when a person is selling a $3 taco receives a $1,000 ticket. Why? We want to tell people, provide for your family. We want to tell people, stay clean. We want to tell people to keep things halal. And this is how we treat those who are marginalized. That can't fly. And so CAIR New York is a part of a coalition who is supporting and pushing and has pushed on the local level and now on the state level more licenses for street vendors so that we can legitimize their profession so that they're not receiving these tickets. And one of our team members and first volunteers, Brother Abdulaziz, and you see her picture here, he went to the press conference for OCOB. That is the bill, my brothers and sisters, that's meant to impact huge marginalized community, and that is those immigrants who are not U.S. citizens yet, but they pay their taxes and they're authorized to work in New York and they have green cards, but they're unable to vote in municipal elections. Yet it's those elected people who are making the laws to marginalize them. Does that sound fair to you? So we said we're bringing people out from the shadows so that they can hold you responsible, and we pushed for a bill that allows them to vote in municipal elections. And alhamdulillah, it was passed in the New York City Council. Alhamdulillah. Now, Sister Linda talked about law enforcement. Hopefully all of you know, you get a tap on the door. Don't open the door, you call CAIR New York. But when you do, and you find yourself in trouble with law enforcement, multiple things can happen. You know, CAIR New York initiated a suit years ago against the NYPD because they had this practice of taking off our sisters' hijabs when they're in custody. And then we sued again in Yonkers for the same issue, and we won what we believe is the largest settlement in such a case, $175,000 for our client for her hijab removal. But there are other issues with law enforcement. And right now, if you recall last year, I introduced you to Brother Miles Carter. He was peacefully protesting against the aggression, the consistent systemic racism against the African American community with law enforcement during a BLM protest in Buffalo. And while he had his hands up and his back turned, speaking to media in a live interview, a whole line of police officers came, dragged him to the floor, handcuffed him, and took him away. And it was all caught on camera, alhamdulillah for that. They even posed criminal charges upon him. Now, his criminal charges have been dropped, alhamdulillah, but we now initiated a civil suit against the police officers and the departments because they have to know that they too are not above the law, and they too cannot unlawfully arrest people, and they too cannot silence what is the right of all of us, and that is to protest and to boycott. And Brother Ibrahim talked about feeling the hate report that we pushed out. And that got a lot of attention, and it should. Why wouldn't it? Because if you haven't seen the report, you need to. 64% of Muslims have experienced a hate crime bias incident or both. 75% of your sisters, your mothers, your daughters have experienced a bias incident, hate crime, or both. 32% of those who knew someone who experienced at least one bias incident or hate crime reported it was a minor. That's your child, that's my child. We put together these reports on purpose because we wanted to know what the prevalence of these incidents are in our community. But we also can now, with data, prove what we always knew all along. Not only do we underreport, which is sad and something we need to work on internally, but also that only 4% of those people actually report the incident to law enforcement. 4%. Which means we don't get resources for our communities, and people are not taking us seriously, so our community feels it's not worthwhile. Or, which is also logical, and we know this for a fact because this is what people told us in the survey, we don't trust law enforcement. Layer of layer of layer that we have to work upon. But the good thing is when we work for 10 months to get these answers and these surveys and this data and this report done, well, like I said, it catches attention. And when you catch attention, now you can catch resources. Because New York Assembly Member Charles Cole commented. New York State Attorney General Letitia James commented. Public Advocate Jumaane Williams was at our press conference and commented. Council Speaker Adrian Adams spoke. Council Member Shahana Hanif. Queensborough President Donovan Richards. Now they know the prevalence of what we see every single day. And I say the best for last because I always want to end on a happy note. Sometimes our board members tell us, you know, we deal with really heavy stuff, which is hard on all of you. So let's end it on a good note. We have done a lot of Muslim ban issues. We've done a lot of refugee issues. We've done a lot of citizen stuff abroad issues. This is a good story because it changes not just the lives of one or two people, but generations to come. In this particular story, we had a family whose husband was here and whose kids could be here because they were citizens. And the wife, who happens to be a Yemeni national, was trying to get in. And after doing everything that they were supposed to do, after conducting an interview that took over 5 years to be scheduled, which by the way, only happens in our community, the U.S. Embassy officials in Cairo, Egypt, finally approved the visa. Alhamdulillah. That was in 2016. Well, after the embassy officials approved the visa and they got a physical letter, the embassy then unlawfully revoked the visa and placed it under review. Well, guess what happened to that year? Who remembers? Muslim ban. What happened to her now approved visa? Gone. And now you have a family who's separated. That is, until we decided to do the embassy in Cairo, and make sure that we force them to essentially answer to the courts. And alhamdulillah, through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's generosity, which is boundless, we were able to get her visa. The family is in, and alhamdulillah, they're now together. Allah bless. What I'm trying to point out is that CAIR New York's work, it impacts you as adults, it impacts your children, it impacts your masajid, it impacts generations to come. And if you want CAIR New York to be able to do this work, then we have to fulfill the demands that's upon us. And to do that, we need to build our compassion. And we can't do that unless you hold our work valuable. So to help prove that you do hold our work valuable, I'm calling up to the stage my brother Imam Abdel Malik, who all of you should know. Full bio is in there. He's active with so many different causes. He told me, Sister Abdel, I don't care what's in the bio. I'm just here to support the mission and to bring out those who also will support your work. So Imam Abdel Malik, please give him a round of applause.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. Can you give a round of applause for my sister? You did a fantastic job. I voted. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده سبحانه وتعالى ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, we bear witness that nothing should be worshipped except Allah. And we bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is indeed Allah's messenger. He is the seal of all prophets. He is the embodiment of the grace of God and the totality of the Quranic message. And he is and will forever be a magnificent example for all of humanity. I have a request. If you need to talk, I need you to exit so I can hear you on both sides. My ears are really good. So I need to come here to play around. You have some business to take care of. If you want to talk, you have that freedom. But I need you to exit. Even if you have the deepest of pockets, even if you're a billionaire, I don't know. Because what we have come to do is very significant. But I need to do something very special. There's a person that is here tonight that I found someone that had anointed. And, I just wanted them to leave me alone. And they wouldn't. And I didn't understand why they just would not leave me alone. They just wouldn't. And they put pressure on me. A lot of pressure. To the point, I said yes, but I meant no. Because I was indifferent to what they had to say. When I was 15 years old, lost in the streets, of the ghettos of America. I met a wonderful man. His name was Brother Muslim. He came to my classroom and said, "You know what? Come have lunch with me today." I said, "Sure." He took me to the masjid. He left me in the restaurant in the masjid. In the masjid, it was a Jewish synagogue that became a masjid. He left me in the restaurant and he went upstairs. As I sat there, they fed me. They showed me great hospitality. But I'm only 15. Even my mother doesn't know I was taken out of school and taken to the masjid. It's getting dark outside. I have to go home. And this brother kept annoying. He would not give up. That brother gave me my shahada. He's here tonight. Imam, you stand up, please. That's him right there. Now, you know what's amazing? I have been a Muslim for more than 35 years. At least 20 years. I didn't know it was him. And one day, one of his students said to me, "Brother Abdullah, do you know who gave me shahada?" I said, "I don't even know who." And I have known Imam for a long time. But I didn't know it was him. Why am I saying that? You know, brothers and sisters, here in the gateways of North America, you have not truly experienced the trials and tribulations that come with being a Muslim. So I want you to consider all that you experience in preparation for the ultimate reality of Allah's greatness. Because Islam cannot be defeated. Islam, there is no way anyone can defeat Islam. The media can say what they want, the government can do what they will, but I'm telling you what I know for sure. No one in this universe has the power to defeat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His infinite will for the guidance of humanity. No one. My ancestors were here on the plantation, indoctrinated with false teachings of a God that never exists. And because Imam Ayub gave me my shahada, I have 7 kids that are born Muslim. I have 4 grandsons and 1 on the way that's born Muslim. My brother has another 7 kids that's born Muslim, another 15 grandkids that are born Muslim, and my whole family is filled with Muslims. What am I saying? In order for any one of us to be successful at anything that we do in life, we must have a sense of belief that is unshakable and a conviction that cannot be moved, that our trust is in Allah. He is sufficient for us as a protector, but we will do our part in confronting the forces of evil, because Satan is already defeated. My job is not to defeat Satan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already said, and He has given him time to the day that we are raised. And after that, over. So I want to tell you something. You're in a great place right now. Being Muslim in America is a magnificent opportunity. Not only to do something in America for Muslims, but to help reshape the very fabric of America's democracy by making your contribution to what America should be in the pursuit of the perfect union, because your presence is by divine decree. But you cannot be successful in America feeling like a victim. Sometimes when I go travel and speak, brothers and sisters, they come to me, "Brother Abdullah, you know, be careful what you say." One brother saw me, he said, "Brother, I haven't seen you in so long. I thought they locked you up." I said, "Brother, I see you first, because you're scared." I say what I say, I mean what I say. Because I have lived the life of a dead man and came to Islam and discovered life. My destiny is in Allah's hands. So whatever I say in public, I say in private. I don't care about the government listening. I want them to listen. Because they may hear something that I heard and have a transformation in their heart. I like confrontation. You should want to be bothered. You should want to be a stranger, but you should never accept oppression. And you should never live in fear. And you should have the faith of a Muslim that believes that your life, the Quran says, Bismillah ar-Rahman, قُلْ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةِ وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. This verse is the cornerstone of the purpose of the life of a Muslim. Allah tells you, قُلْ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةِ, say my prayers, all acts of devotion that are classified between you and Allah. Don't let nobody judge you. Allah is the judge. Allah says, say verily my prayers, my sacrifice, my living and my dying. Because death is inevitable. The day you came into existence, simultaneously you started to die. The day Allah gave you life, death took on its course. We are people of destiny, and we in this hour are the guardians of the light. The problem is we don't believe. We don't believe who we are. Allah says, say verily my prayers, my sacrifice, my life and my death, all of it belongs to Allah. And I have been commanded to be of those that surrender. Now listen, I watched a brother the other day who was Muslim. He was showing off. He had a watch on that cost $3 million. He was in a Phantom Rolls Royce that costs about $500,000. It's not that Muslims in America don't got money. They got plenty of money. But they don't have a vision. And they don't know who they are. They are like the lion that was captured in his or her younger age. Because you know what happens, when you go to the zoo, and we all have been to the zoo, we are entertained by the captivity of the lion. We go, come here. You see the lion? Look, take a picture. And he's in the cage, and he's walking around, right? And we want to look at the lion. We want to be entertained by the lion. But the nature of the lion is not to entertain you or to be in that cage. But because the lion has been domesticated, he is unfamiliar in the moment of his power. But you have to ask a question. If the lion is domesticated, why is he still locked in the cage? And why is he still chained? Because the men and women that domesticated the lion know that his nature is to be the lion king. And that if he has a moment of recall, he kill everything in front of him. The problem you don't understand is that the enemies of Islam know your potential for greatness. And because they know your potential, they use all kinds of diversions to misdirect you and derail you and make you second guess Allah's love for you, so you hold back in working for Allah, investing in Allah, and preparing yourself for the hereafter. So there are Muslims that got money. They just hold on to it. Say, brother, can you give 10,000? Oh, brother, 10,000. Yeah, you were born with nothing. You're going to die with nothing. And there's nothing in the graveyard for sale that you can even buy. So all that you have is a blessing from Allah, and it's attached with that blessing. I went to one fundraising event. People play you cheap if you let them. I went to a fundraising event. I said, brother, you come into this fundraiser and give you $1,000. I said, really? I said, keep your money. Keep your money. I don't need no $1,000. That's toilet paper money, baby, from where I come from. Ain't no money. But he had on shoes that cost $2,000 when I went to meet him. His shoes, $2,000. He had on a Rolex that cost $45,000. The problem he had with me is he didn't respect my value. He didn't acknowledge my humanity. It's like you go out with dinner, or you go out for dinner. And someone says, where you want to eat at? I said, well, let's go to Capitol Grill. It's some fish. And the bill comes and it's $140. And the brother says, wait, brother. Who do you think you are that you can come here and eat like this? It's expensive. No, brother, it's not who do I think I am. It's who do you think I'm not? Because I know who I am. And that $120, $140 ain't nothing. There are people in America who believe in their cause, like the Koch brothers. They donate millions of dollars to control Washington and the political direction of America. There are people that belong to other communities. They know your power. And you are now offsetting the balance, but you are slowing up your progress because you don't believe. You're doubtful. A doubtful mind is a double-minded spirit that can do nothing except live in doubt. It's like a man. You see a beautiful woman. You say, you know what? She's not going to marry. Her father's going to say, no. I'm not that rich anyway, and I don't even have a chance. You've already defeated because you don't believe. Because guess what? She could have said yes easily. You never know what's possible until you knock on the door. Now, ask Allah for what you will. There's nothing you desire that Allah can't bestow upon you. You can say, oh Allah, tonight, Allah, I will give 20, 30,000 for your sake. Allah, I ask you to use this as a blessing to myself, to my children, to my mother and father. Make it a blessing, Allah, that opens up the gateways of abundance and multiply that so I can do more. We have the capacity, but the question is, you have the conviction. It's all about conviction. Everybody believes in something. When I do a fundraising sometime, I go to the parking lot. I go to the parking lot, and there's $4 million in luxury cars. And then I got to beg people for $200,000. And then you wonder why people don't, quote unquote, respect the Muslims. Because you won't do what Muslims are supposed to do. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, walking in the shadow of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the interest of this deen, not the dunya, the deen. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he gave everything. What do you want from me, Ya Rasulullah? Labbaik, Ya Rasulullah. Labbaik, Ya Rasulullah. I'm here. What is it you desire of me? A man who has received divine revelation for the salvation of all of humanity, who has been beaten, who has bled, who has run for his life and abandoned the city that he loved. He gave up everything. What do you want of me, Ya Rasulullah? Labbaik. And he gave it all. Said, what you want, Ya Rasulullah? Here. I have whatever you want, take it. Because guess what? There's nothing you give in the path of Allah that Allah will give it back to you. In the absence of life, there's nothing you need. If Allah took your soul right now, the money you have in the bank, what's it going to do for you? The house you purchased, what's it going to do for you? The fancy cars, what's it going to do for you? You ever wash your dead body? I have. And death don't scare me. You know why? Because if you understand, the thing you should not be afraid of is death. You should be afraid of the life that you're living. Because if you live the right kind of life, death for you is the gateway to eternity. You say, Allah, I'm home. I made it to do it. Because it is no deed that you can do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the barakah will not come to you. So we just need people tonight to say, you know what? Okay. Not because of CAIR, not because of any speech without the gave, none of that. But because we know Allah says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Allah has favored Muslims in America. Allah has blessed you. You're blessed. Yes, we have some friction. It's okay. You haven't experienced anything like the 60s. You have no idea of the struggle of people in the gateways of Palestine. We have Muslims in Kashmir that are suffering. We have Muslims in India that have been burned alive. We're sitting here in the conference of New York City, and we're just asking you for money. Not blood, not your house, just a little money. Use your credit card. That's it. You mean to tell me for all that Allah has done for you, out of the billions of Muslims on the planet Earth, Allah allowed you to come into the gateways of North America. You mean to tell me that you don't have the basic common sense to express your gratitude and appreciation and to invest in a system like CAIR, protection, safety, security, and the freedom of Muslims of this generation and unborn generation? It's common sense, man. It's your insurance policy in the grave. Your insurance policy in the grave is that Allah, I gave what I could. I did the best that I could. And in spite of all my sins and imperfections, I tried to be a good human being. Let me tell you this as I finish and conclude. Some of the best people in America is Muslims. But Muslims, they don't understand how valuable they are. You don't even understand the majesty of the power that you possess. You don't. You know how I know? Because the way we treat you. But they only treat us this way because we treat ourselves. So tonight, I mean, $200,000 is peanuts, man. I mean, come on, man, $200,000? That's easy. That's easy.
350, so.
Who said that?
We could put together.
Brother, you can start with the first 100,000. But I want to make this a night of success, which it will be, inshallah. I mean, when we do this tonight together, inshallah. I can't hear you. Inshallah. Not inshallah like في البلاد الخليجية. العرب يفهمون. إن العرب يقول إن شاء الله معلش معلش مشكلة. You know, the Arabs they say inshallah. I mean inshallah. I mean inshallah. But tonight we will make it an inshallah with action. So I just like to know quickly if there's anyone that would be gracious tonight, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that would give us a commitment of a contribution for $20,000 on behalf of yourself, your business, your organization, in honor of your mom, your dad, or someone who has transitioned. Is there anyone tonight who start us off, inshallah, with a commitment of $20,000, inshallah? Anyone? One person, inshallah, ta'ala, that will commit $20,000. Even if you pay monthly installments. Think about it. $20,000. Some of you, your cars cost $200,000. So we're asking for 10% of what you drive. That's it. Just 10%. Anyone, inshallah, will give us the barakah tonight so that perhaps you can also encourage others. You know, Shaitan will tell you, no, you want to go to France, you want to go to London, mashallah, you're trying to get to Spain. It's okay. These are the blessings of life that can take you across the world. Is there anyone, inshallah, that will bless us with 10? See? 10,000. 10. You raising your hand, brother? Where your parents at? I'm gonna take you as a hostage. I'm like a monster. I hold you. So who will do for us? I wanted the 20. 10 slipped. I don't know why 10 slipped out my mouth. But we'll do that too, inshallah. But I want to go back to my point of the 20. Anybody, inshallah, will give us 20? 20,000 for kids, inshallah. Fi sabilillah. Anybody? Your actions could be an inspiration for others to get. It happens like that all the time. Even if you don't want to raise your hand, you know, just write it, set it up. Inshallah. If you want to do it, just write the 20,000 and send it up there. If you don't want us to announce it, it won't be announced. But I know for sure, out of 300 and something people in this room, there is someone here that can do 20,000. Easy. It's a matter of desire. Well, I was in Seattle, Washington. Brother Dean was with me. And Seattle said, you gotta come back, you gotta come back. Hurry up. I said, listen, I have a program in Washington, and we need to pay for the stage and the water for the Juma prayer. I said, I'm not gonna come back without you writing a check for 20,000, cover all the expenses. Well, they wrote that check in what? Less than 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes. The brother looked at the other brothers, go write the check. Why? It was in their interest. They wanted me to come back for the event. So motivation often depends upon your own desire. The question tonight is, do you want to do something for the sake of Allah that deals with the safety, security, and the prosperity of Muslims, especially the Muslim children, and those that are easily targeted based upon immigration status to be harassed and deported in jail? So we just need someone to be a motivation for us, inshallah. Anybody will do it for us tonight? 20,000, inshallah. Anyone? One person, inshallah. Give us one believer. One good Muslim brother or sister. Sister, if you raise your hand, you need my marriage counseling, I'll stay all night in the line. No problem. Anyone? Okay, we'll go with 10. Who will do 10 points? Who will give 10,000 for us tonight, inshallah?
That's New York.
Okay, Mass New York? Mass New York 10? I was thinking, Habibi, يعني زد واحد صفر. 1 0 is missing. Doctor, how you feeling? Mass New York and Mass as an organization, mashallah, primarily, I believe, with their focus on the youth and open up beautiful centers. You have done a great job, brother. Mass as a community. Mass, CAIR. Listen, all the Muslim organizations touch our lives. Jamaat Tabligh, all the groups, all those groups up there, they all touch me in some way or another. All of them. So we appreciate you, brother. 10,000, inshallah. Takbir, one more time. Takbir. Okay. Who will be our next 10, inshallah? Come on, y'all. Come on, 10. You out there. Who will be our next 10,000? 10,000, inshallah. For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, purely for the barakah, inshallah, that is with Allah. Only Allah can give you the word. Table number 11. 10,000. Takbir. Islamic Center of Long Island. Takbir. Islamic Center of Long Island. 10,000. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. May Allah give us success and increase our wealth and give us the barakah. And don't worry, I'm going to be finished. You're going to eat. But if you fat like me, don't worry about food. You can always. My mom looked at me the other day and said, "You're getting fat." I was like, "Mom, you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, I'll put the cookies down." That's all. For the sake of Allah. Who else can do 10,000 on behalf of yourself, your organization, or your business? Give us another donor for 10,000, inshallah. 10,000. 10,000. 10,000. Give us another donor. $10,000, inshallah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the barakah that we have received. Not for the blessings we hope for, but for all the blessings Allah already gave us. You know, some people, they negotiate with Allah for a future bargain. But what about what we already have? What about what already has been given? We thank Allah for the barakah that we have and the blessings that we have received. So we need another donor, inshallah, that will do $10,000, inshallah. You have to, you raise your hand? You raise your hand, sister? 10,000? Huh? You trying to get somebody's attention to come help you? Or you donate? 10? She's giving you. That can cost you, brother. Okay, who else will do 10 for us, inshallah? 10,000. This way. I see some faces over here that I know you can do it. I'm not gonna bother you, but you know that I know that you know that I know you can do 10. Easy. So I'm gonna look over here. Can we get a brother, sister, business leader, community rep to do another 10 for us, inshallah? 10,000. For the sake of Allah, to keep CAIR in a good position, keep their doors open and continue to work on behalf of our community. Can we get another donor for $10,000, inshallah? Inshallah. Anyone? Okay. This is an easy one. Who will do 5,000, inshallah? My brother Ramadan? Takbir. 5. My brother here? 5. Hold it up again, brother. Hold it. You want to do like this? Okay, 5. I'll do that. 5 there. 5,000 here. Muslim Center of New York. Muslim Center of New York has been one of the key components in our community. I love what they have built for the children. I love the Taqwa Quran school. I love the fundraiser that they did virtually, and they raised good money. It was a beautiful fundraiser during COVID-19. So 5,000 from there. Who else? 5. I need the 5s right here. Shut Rock. Oh, brother, I've been there. What is it called? Shut Rock. I know I've been there. Huh? Shelter Rock. That's where you get shot at. When I'm homeless, I'm over there. Keep the back door open. Just don't call the police, brother. Unless you tell them I'm on your team. Okay. 5,000. Now they have a beautiful, oh, 5,000 here. My brother, 5,000. Say it again. Hudson Valley Community Center. Takbir. That's beautiful. Hudson Valley got a beautiful mansion out there too. We got mansions everywhere. We're going to grow. We're going to be successful. Don't plant doubt in the hearts of your children. And don't make your children think that we have been conquered and everybody's against us. The boogeyman is out to get you because you're Muslim. Don't do that. You let your kids know. We were born, designed, engineered for success. And trusting in Allah is always the best way to go. And fight for your dreams. And don't be intimidated by the opponents. Because we're going to witness it. Who else will do 5,000 for us, inshallah? 5,000? 5. I want to see some ladies' hands tonight. You know those ladies with the diamond rings on? The ones who go on the shopping mall, hang out, the pocketbooks, the Chanel bags, you know, the Gucci. I want to see some statistics. Who else will do 5,000 for us? 5,000. We need more. 5,000. We need more. Inshallah, 5,000. Come on, brothers and sisters, help me speed it up. So inshallah, you get your beautiful food and eat that beautiful cheesecake. Who else will do 5 for us? 5,000. We need another hand. $5,000, inshallah. Do me a favor. Is anybody keeping an account? Magic? All right. Who else will do for us 5,000? Motivate us. Inspire us. My brother there, table number 9. Hold your hand up again, sir, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. Master Hamza? Wait, from Dr. Hassan? Dr. Hussein? Very straight. Right off the highway, right? Let me tell you something, brother. When I was sick, I came there to see Dr. Hussein, and he took care of my back. Beautiful place. Master Hamza on the highway, beautiful place. Takbir. You know, that's a beautiful thing. To see masjids and organizations give to another Muslim organization, wallahi, that is major progress in New York City. There was a time nobody did anything but their own. But we are blessed now that we have grown and we understand the burden that we share, the responsibility that we share, and the blessings that come with it. Who else will donate 5,000 for us, inshallah? 5,000. Come on, we need a few more hands. You can do it. If you want to write the check for the 5, write it right now. Write the check and let the people come and collect it from you right now. Anyone else? 5,000? 5,000. 5,000. Table number 6. Anybody table number 6 for me? What's the blessing? Where's table number 12? Table number 12. Table number 12. I see table number 12. There's something about that shape with table number 12. It's special. I think table number 12 is good for 100,000. Easy. Who else will do for us 5,000? 5,000. Okay, let's speed it up a little bit, inshallah, if you don't mind. Can we get a commitment? For $3,000. Who will do $3,000 for CAIR's office? 3,000. You guys are very difficult today. You know, I go to so many fundraisers, people move quickly. What happened? You guys you got deep pockets? No, inshallah, for the barakah, who will do 3,000 plus? $3,000 for CAIR. Because we must reach this number tonight. We must reach the target number, inshallah. And we'll be patient. We have a great speaker all the way from Texas, right, brother? Texas. What's your name again, man? Abdul Nasser? Oh, we got to get ready for Brother Abdul Nasser to come. Oh, inshallah. Who will do $3,000 for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? For the barakah of Allah as a statement of your own appreciation for the blessings that you have received. Who will do 3? 3,000. Muslims, you do 3? He said, yeah, brother, I get 3 out. My brother here, brother, look, you at table 3. SubhanAllah, 3 for 3. Takbir. My brother here, brother, make sure you give them the pledge form. Who else will do 3,000 for us? $3,000. $3,000. We need another hand for 3,000. $3,000. Let me tell you something that's so beautiful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his infinite wisdom, he understands the nature which he has created the human being in. Allah says something beautiful. Allah says that Shaitan threatens you with poverty. That's amazing. But Allah promises you prosperity and forgiveness and a reward that is eternal. Whenever you find yourself hesitant to donate, to give in the cause of Allah, know that there's nothing between you and that contribution except the voice of Satan. And you have to decide, do you hear Satan's voice or do you hear the divine word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that says, those who we have bestowed upon them the blessings, they spend in the cause of Allah out of what we have bestowed upon them and sold upon them. So I need another person that will do 3,000. 3,000 inshallah. 3,000, 3,000. Okay? No problem. Who will do 2,500 for us? 2,500. 2,500? No, she's like, who will do 2,500? 2,500. Don't worry about the food. You gotta eat. I promise you. Who will do 2,500 for us? 2,500 for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the barakah of what CAIR has done and will continue to do. My brother at table 25, mashallah, takbir. Brother, are those your sons over there? Are you from Bosnia, my friend? Oh my God. What a beautiful family. Let me tell you, young men, something. You all look like future America's bankers and lawyers and judges, engineers and members of Congress. If you run for office, let me run your campaign. if you got a better chance of getting in the Senate than a lot of young people. But let me tell young people something at that table. Young men, love, respect, honor, and make your mother and father proud of you for what they have given you, especially your Islamic identity, is priceless. And it will be your greatest foundation to build a future for yourself in America. So may Allah bless that family. May God for them. May Allah bless them. Amen. Huh?
They are talking the Quran, the kids, Abdullah, and he will cover them.
They have the Quran. Stand up, young man. Stand up. All of them memorize Quran. Three of them? To be here. No, give them a round of applause. A real one. That's what I'm talking about. Let me tell you why. See, you don't know the value of someone memorizing the Quran. Because people memorized the Quran in the life of the Prophet, 1440 something years later, it's still with us because people pass down the power of the message. So don't take that lightly. That's major. To memorize the whole Quran, Allah Akbar, but in that time. I need another donation. 2,500. Hold the 2,500 for. 25. Sister, Abba, how are we doing so far? Okay, we got lots of dollars. We'll get there, inshallah. We'll get there. Based upon the numbers in this room, we're going to get there tonight, inshallah. We need another donor, inshallah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who will do 2,500. Anyone else? Another 5K? Takbir. Okay, now, you got another one coming, brother? You give it to her? You give her. You fold it out, right? Let her get the pledges that you have already, so she'll know what's going on. Now, let me tell you something real simple. I'm going to tell you something real simple. We can make this. How many of you been to Hajj, by the way? I need to know. Raise your hand. Wait a minute. Wait. Let me start. Muslims in America, how many of you made your Hajj in this room? Hajj. من منكم ذهب إلى مكة المحرمة للحج حج يا رجال ارفع ايديكم. We have to have a talk. Muslims in America? Now, why do I mention that? Why do I mention that? For a very simple reason. The people who go to Mecca, you see the legacy of the sacrifice of the great prophets and the messengers of all. Look what they laid out. Because they gave. Now, I mentioned that for one reason. When you go to Hajj, we do the stone of the shaitan, right? The Jamarat, right? I need you to pay attention. Hold down the noise. If 4 million people pick up 21 rocks to stone the Jamarat, what is the total amount of rocks that has been stoned? What? Say it again. 84 million rocks are thrown on Hajj when there's 4,000 for judge. 4 million for judge. How many rocks? So if Allah would ask one person to pick up 84 million rocks, they wouldn't do it in a lifetime. But tonight, this is the thing that I think we can do. That makes it easy for all of us. There's 300 people plus. Out of the 300, I'm looking for 200 to give $1,000. And that means they got 250 plus. What is $1,000? If you do the calculation, it's like, how many days in a month? Huh? On average, how many? So what's 30 divided into 1,000? So the closest whole number, what is it? Huh? $32.30. So listen to what I'm asking you. Is this commitment to Islam in your eyes worth $33 a day for a month? We need 200 people to do 1,000. You got 1,000, young lady? 1,000? Oh, come here. You got to come closer. Both of you. No, come here. No, this is real. Come here. Oh, come on. Let me tell you why this is so important. When you study Islamic history, and you study the most successful men in the world, always with those men are women that you lead. I want you to say that. Who's talking to you? Right? Tell us what you said.
Would I could donate 2,500 to my saving account?
Or you don't sister just friends. You're just friends.
Yeah, we're sisters. They're sisters.
Two sisters in Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open the gates of paradise and make you successful in this life and make you multi-billionaires so that you can come back together and do more for Islam. I'm dead serious. We don't need just millionaires. We need millionaires to shake this thing up the way it's supposed to be done. Because money is real. And those who have it and spend it in the way of Allah, they make the greatest impact on the planet. The most expensive real estate in the world, I want you to look it up tonight. The most expensive real estate development in the world is $100 billion is the Kaaba and Mecca and Masjid al-Haram. It is the #1 real estate project development on the world. So I pray that you become billionaires and that you can get born in the future. Thank you so much. Takbir. Takbir. Now, can someone just match that? Can we get a donor to match their 2,500? They give it 2,500 from this evening. Can we get a donor to match that? My brother there? Table number 12, 25. Brother, thank you so much. May you get the blessing of matching them and become that multi-billionaire as well. Because I'm telling you right now, brothers and sisters, if you want to be successful with Islam in America, you need some people that want to spend some money. See, I have a policy. When people talk to me, a brother came to me recently. He said, do you want to meet the prince? The prince is coming to America, and I want you to set up meetings for him, and I want you to go here, and I want you to... I said, brother, slow down. I'm asking you one question, only one question. Is the prince writing a check? I said, no, brother, I thought you would help us. I said, so take this back to the prince. Tell the prince in America, we don't need to hear anything you have to say. We need money and resources because we got real issues that we want to solve. We don't need people just coming to talk to us. We need the resources to make the difference. And that's the only way you're going to have the rights of a Muslim in America. You got to spend some money, man. Don't get mad at other groups that got Congress on lockdown. Don't get mad at politicians that call out other ethnic and religious communities and bow to their will. Don't get mad at them because they write checks and they get money and they mobilize. And we can do the same. But I thank those young ladies. The brother also said, table number 12, brother. Table number 12. So what I want to do as they pick up the rocks in I'm looking for 200 people right now to do $1,000. That's an easy number for a crowd of this magnitude. None of you are on welfare. You don't have any public assistance. My brother Ivan, 1,000 top here. My other brother there, mashallah, top here. Another check we have here for 2,000, takbir. We have an anonymous donation for 2,000, takbir. Now, honestly, I don't want to take no more of your time. I want all of you to take out your checks, take the pledge forms right now, fill them out, send us the checks, send us the pledge forms, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $500, $250 right now, because I'm telling you, it is my desire, hope, and it is my mission to get $200,000 before we meet him. Inshallah. Are you with me?
Yes.
Oh, I don't hear you. Are you with me? Because if this was a soccer game, some of you be screaming.
Yes.
If this was the Indian people performing for volleyball, you'd be screaming. Are you with me tonight to get this $200,000 to make sure that CAIR has a budget that will allow them to continue to do? Are you with me? Yes or no?
Yes.
Maybe call Donald Trump again. That guy gonna go to jail if he's like that. We have a donation here, mashallah, $1,000 up here. We have another donation here, a one-time donation on the card for $1,000 up here. Now I want the team volunteers, go to all the tables down, get the checks, get the platforms. We're gonna get to the 200,000. Let's do it quickly. Fill out the form completely. If you don't fill it out completely, it's a $1,500 fine. Where's the credit card machine at? We got, ooh, you got sophisticated kids, you know. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up, but we're gonna get the money, inshallah. We got to get the 200,000 plus, inshallah. So right now, please, brothers and sisters, I don't want to take no more of your time. We have a great scholar also here tonight. We want to make sure that you have a chance to hear him without any pressure. We have, mashallah, With an additional donation from Brother Jamil's Foundation for the children and youth, mashallah, $1,000 to beer. There you go. Let's go quickly. Where are the volunteers? Where are the people at work? I don't see you moving to the table. Where y'all at? Go to each table, get the pledge forms, get the checks, tell the aunties and the uncles, salam alaikum, give them a nice smile, and get the money. Don't delay. Where are all the young people? Young sisters that came up early. Can you come over here? The ones that donated. Come. Where are all the young people at? Where do you? The young brothers, come over here. I need some young brothers and sisters up here quickly. Here we go. Okay, after that, we have another donation here, mashallah, 250, we love it, 250. Alhamdulillah, we have another donation for 100. Alhamdulillah, we have a contribution here one time for 100, we appreciate you. We have another $100 donation, we have another one for 150, Allahu Akbar, takbir. We can say takbir to people that give 100, we'll give 50, maybe that's all they have. We appreciate you, alhamdulillah. We have a one-time contribution of 100. We have another donation here for 500. We have another one for 500 takbir. Let's go. I need the volunteers. Go to the table. Get the checks. Get the machines out. Let's get moving. Mashallah. We got another $1,000 takbir. Come on. Listen, I promise you. We're going to give this $200. You know, before I was a Muslim, I would have had $200,000 in the first 30 minutes. 30 seconds. Did you hear what I said? Yes. I'm full of things. I'd be like this here. It's not shaking. I'd be like this here. Chick, chick. Yo, bro, I need 20 grand. You like this? 20? Take 40, brother. May Allah's blessing, brother. Don't bother, don't bother. But now I have to be gentle, mashallah. It's okay. Until I become part of the government, then I'll put my tax return and have to pay this account and their contributions to CAIR this Islamic organization. Mashallah, somebody put some cash in here. $200 cash up here. MashaAllah. Y'all ready for this? We just got a donor, anonymous. They're donating $24,000. Takbir. Takbir. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I swear, the longer I live, I'm gonna go over 50. Right here. I told you I became Muslim. How old was I? How old? I'm 55 now. How many years ago was that? 40 years ago. Can I tell you this? 40 years ago, listen, I want you to listen to this. 40 years ago, I never told nobody this, I'm gonna tell you. 40 years ago, before I accepted Islam, I had a gun to my head, it was cocked back. Yeah. The man cocked back the gun at a place where there was gathering. He told me, don't move. He wanted to search me. Because my team normally, would come to get the money. That's one gun. And another guy one day, I was in the pool hall at 14, he cocked back. He said, look down the gun barrel, show you I can kill you right now. I looked at all 6 bullets. Right? My teacher told me, you will not live to be 16. But I'm now 55. Why do I tell you that story? Your life is in Allah's hands. I want you to know that all that you possess, Allah will give it to you. Don't be stingy tonight. Kid must have a minimum of $200,000, either cash, credit, or promissory note that you'll pay every month. But they must have that in their budget. And to be honest with you, that's peanuts, man. You can't even buy a good commercial against the Democratic Party or the Republican Party for $200,000. We got another one here, 500. Takbir, House of Foods, Inc. MashaAllah, 500. Takbir. We have another one here on the Visa. MashaAllah, the Visa card hit $100. MashaAllah. We have another donation here, $1,000. Takbir. You know, I really enjoy going fundraising for a reason. I don't know who's got the money in their pocket. You got another one here for 1,000. I don't know. Okay, we have an announcement here. MashaAllah, ICNA sisters. It can assist this. MashaAllah. $800. Takbir. We have another donation here for 1,000, one-time donation. And MashaAllah, we have another donation here using Zelle. MashaAllah, $1,000. Takbir. I want to tell you something, brothers. Personally, I'm very proud of you as Muslims. And I know, inshallah, tonight you'll make it successful. But I want you to know that the seeds that you plant is creating a story for Islam when you're dead and gone. I'm writing my book right now, my story of how I accepted Islam and how I went to Mecca. Listen to this. I gotta tell you this. I want to show you the power of Allah to provide for you. I went to Mecca to make Hajj at 16. How old? How old? I accepted Islam. My mother's crying. My father's not Muslim. My father says, what can I do for you? I said, buy me a ticket to Mecca to make Hajj. My father's not Muslim. He buys the ticket. My mother says I can go. I changed my name legally. I make Hajj, and in Medina, I told the people of Medina, I'm going to the store, I'll be back. They said, don't lie. I said, just give me the passport. I'm coming back. I wasn't coming back. I didn't lie. I apologize to the guy. What? I took my passport. You ready for this? I went back to Mecca at 16 by myself. I had $500 in my pocket. Wallahi. Do you know in Mecca I never knew I was homeless? Because I slept in the huddle. I never knew I was homeless. My daughter asked me a question, Zenobia. She said, Abi, how did you get the courage to do something so crazy? I told her I didn't have courage because I wasn't afraid. You only need courage when you live in fear. You don't need courage tonight to donate. You need to accept the fact that Allah has blessed you. You live in the gateways of North America. You have all the benefits of the 2% or less of the people of the world to live in the finest of luxury. And it's not because of what you have done. It's because Allah has bestowed it upon you. Because there are people with your same credentials that don't share in your wealth. So I beg you tonight, inshallah, as when I say stuff off, it means that's enough about it. I beg you tonight to make sure that CAIR reaches their number. Sister, how close are we, guys? We'll update. Are we close?
I think we'll be there.
You think we'll be there? If not, we're gonna lock the door. I got two brothers here from law enforcement. I don't know if they'll arrest me. But we're gonna get the money, inshallah. Thank you so much. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah bestow the barakah on you. With 300 plus people being in here, that means everybody throw in an extra 100. That's 30,000 in cash, and I know y'all can do that. If everybody in here throw in an extra $100, that'll be about $30,000 in what? Cash. So look. I'm going to look amongst my friends as I travel. This month, I'm doing some special fundraisers for the people of India. And I have a meeting with 70 Muslim leaders of one organization. And a brother who's a multimillionaire hosted us in Chicago. But a Muslim suffering any place is the pain of every Muslim. But I told the Indian Muslims one thing. They failed to connect their struggle with the people of America that are struggling for civil rights. Why do I say that as I conclude? You know, Dr. Martin Luther King said that the Bible was his spiritual force for the revolution against white supremacy. But he said he was influenced by Mahatma Gandhi's strategy for what? Nonviolence movement. The Indian people should know that their history and their struggle against the British impacted the civil rights movement of America and the quest for Black liberation. And together, if we work together as a people, we can strengthen their cause. Those Muslims that are being disrespected by those supremacist Hindus in India, we have to shame them in America and make them uncomfortable to promote their hatred as they did in New Jersey when they brought that bulldozer. Make them uncomfortable. They cannot bring that forward here and infect the fabric of American society when we're trying to pull our people together. So, inshallah, I'm going to walk around tonight to every table. And I want you to give me the principle. Because I'm serious about what I do. At the end of the day, this organization, why are you so scared? Who's scaring you? Look at you when she's like this. Sister, I'm not gonna bother you. You got no bodyguards in here tonight.
From here, amen. 500 from here.
MashaAllah. We have 500. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. One-time donation, 500. Thank you so much. Thank you, Johnny. MashaAllah. Allah yaftah alayha, inshallah. Yafadullah, inshallah. How many Egyptians here? Okay, you guys got bad marketing, Kev. How many Egyptians here? Yeah, you guys do better. Get Egyptians in here. يعني في مصريين إنهم فلوس كتير يعني في مصابة. Okay, how many from Pakistan here tonight? Pakistan. Then the Pakistan. Yo, you know when you talk to Pakistani brothers, you have to love when they talk to you, they shake your head. They say, think. How many from Afghanistan? MashaAllah, Afghanistan. Say it again. Guess what? Afghanistan proves something to the world. That you can be a superpower, but you can't step.
Twice.
Twice, man.
3 times.
Listen, I gotta tell you the secret, man. Black lives in America need to talk to y'all, man. We don't need to fight, but we need that lion spirit of resistance. Never surrender. Never retreat. Push forward. Even though what Trump said. He said the Afghans are good fighters. I know y'all don't like Trump. But you know why I like Trump? He made me aware more and more why it's so important to be conscious as a Muslim and to watch the moves of government institutions that are filled with hatred that poison the hearts and minds of the American people, using white supremacy as a diversion. Okay, how many Moroccans in here? Let's see, Morocco? Morocco! Yemen! Yemen! Where's Yemen? Yemen! Yemen is here? Yemen, I'm coming to table 6. I got to see those numbers, baby. You have a seat for me? I'm coming for 50,000 at table 6. Okay. Kashmir? Anyone? Kashmir? Wait. Kashmir is in the building. Kashmir for Kashmir, table 14. Kashmir. Got the ladies from Kashmir, mashallah. Kashmir. Okay. India's in the building for sure. If Pakistan is in the building, if Kashmir is in the building, if Bengali is in the building, mother country is who? India. India. We love India. We just don't like those supremacists. Just got a system for 5,000 up here. Okay, inshallah, I'm going to leave this podium. Sister Abbas, Sister Captain, do I have permission to leave? Good morning. I'm going to visit some tables there. Because I will not leave tonight without that $200. Please, brothers and sisters, I'm very serious. That $200,000, you must have it for the night home. Or else. I don't know what else means, but or else. May Allah bless all of you. Thank you so much. I hope that when my book comes out, you will buy my book and read my story and share with the children, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Don't forget, I'm coming to the table. I'm collecting platform. So,
So my team wants to be together, my mic, but I want you guys are great. Get to talk to each other, mingle. Alhamdulillah, dinner's coming out. I want to just thank you all. Wallahi, if it wasn't for an organization like CAIR New York, there would be Muslims who would not be confident. There would be Muslims who know that somebody can treat me wrongfully and I can't do nothing about it. So we're at the point at the organization, alhamdulillah, we're at the point where we have to let more Muslims know about us so that when they deal with discrimination, they know they have an organization, they know they have you, the community, to have their back. So thank you all. Please fill out your forms completely. Encourage your friends, your family, your circles to donate. You know the importance of this organization. And thank you so much. And inshallah, we'll have dinner. Your desserts are already on the table as well. And we'll have Sheikh Abdul Nasser Janda speak to us, followed by a very important Faith in Action Awards, which are awards given out by imams and organization leaders, those people in their communities that they saw they had faith in action, they were standing up courageously in justice. So thank you so much, and have a nice service.